Morning, everybody. Clapper it is. On the dot. Morning, Travel Star. As many of you know, this is Justice's Waiting Room. This is a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. And hey, I'm a socialist, and all that means is that I want everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing. Did you just become a socialist too? That's right. That's right, you did. It's that easy. The first thing I want to start off saying today is it doesn't have to end like this. I'm just saying. Uh there's another way. It's going to be rough until we make some significant changes. I think it starts with building a party to challenge the Democratic Party in the United States from the left. Free from corporate control, free from foreign interference, built on the backs of hardworking Americans that are tired of playing this bullshit game. I made a comment on Reddit this morning, so I'm kind of patting myself on the back here when I say my comment was the problem that you have as a man. So I'm speaking about my experience and men in my proximities experience. You grow up and you're taught your whole life to finish the fight. So keep in mind, like, I was in Boy Scouts. I played sports year round. I was in the Marine Corps. You're taught your whole life to finish the fight. And then when you get out of the military and you become a civilian and you realize the only real way to affect the world around you is politics. Okay? You realize that in this fight in the United States, as far as politics go, you have a bunch of people who will absolutely fight and who do not play by the rules. And then you have a bunch of people that play by the rules and don't really want to fight. And then you have to decide which team do you want to be on. Do you want to be on the team that's literally willing to kill other Americans? Do you want to be on that team that will cheat, that will kill other Americans? Or do you want to be on the team that plays by the rules and doesn't really want to fight, certainly doesn't want to kill other Americans? That's my question. Is that what we want as our choices for political parties? Is that what we are going to be content with moving forward? Is choosing, and I'd also say don't enforce rules. So you play by the rules that you don't even enforce. One of the things that bothers me is that there's this whole conversation about you can't sue a sitting president. And that's based off a fucking memo. That's not a fucking rule. It's like a old boys club memo. Like, hey, we don't sue the president, like nudge nudge, wink wink, nod nod, right? Um and I'm raging this morning in general, just saying, like, that's my sales pitch for the American Socialist Party. We need to control who's giving support to the party. You want to make sure that you're free from foreign, I would say, like, I want to say tattered foreign interference, but you want to be free from like Russian and Israeli interference. Right. Right. And I think it's a lot easier to attack problems from the left than jump to the right, because that's what a lot of people have done is they've just bent the knee, kissed the ring, and fucking start licking boots. And it's like, hey, I don't think that's the play. I don't think full on authoritarianism slash communism, a violent overthrow of the government resulting, right? Which is what a lot of people are talking about. Hey, I'm talking about doing something. We're literally having a conversation about doing something. I think it's establish the American Socialist Party, ASP. So I've asked for help before, but I'm more adamant about it now, where I'm like, it can't cost that much to develop a political party whose ethos is grounded in the four foundational pieces of socialism: universal healthcare, education, income, and housing. And otherwise, just a super progressive fucking platform, a super open platform, right? With liberty and justice for all, right? And so, mhm. Yeah, what's happening in Washington D.C. is not getting it done. You know what I mean? So before we go in on Donald Trump for firing the head of the TSA, and within 24 hours, it's the greatest air disaster in the United States since 9/11. Way to go, Donnie. Way to go, Donnie. And if you voted for Donald Trump, if you voted for Donald Trump, yeah, Bob Melendez, yeah. If you voted for Donald Trump, you have blood on your hands. Donald Trump fired the head of TSA yesterday, and last night a helicopter, a military transport helicopter crashed into an airplane. I also want to point out that Donald Trump also um, temporarily halted the FAA hiring of new air traffic controllers. Yeah, there was a train crash. I believe it was at the beginning of Joe Biden's term in office, and it was as a result of something Donald Trump had done. Make sure you listen to War, please. It's part of the. Oh, I mean, it feels like it really hits close to home for me. I literally went to Purdue University to either become a pilot or an air traffic controller, and about 20 fucking years ago, the FAA went on a hiring freeze. George Bush. Okay. So this feels personal to me, whereas clearly a failure of air traffic control, failure, the U.S. military failure, um, to control the airspace, you know, which is insane that we're talking about it, Lindsay. It's all about marketing, Giannis. And we get to take the "Don't Tread on Me" and take it for the left. And it's the American flag, "Don't tread on me." You know what I mean? Or the U.S. Constitution, "Don't tread on me." What is it good for? And I'll be the initial founder, and it's something you can always build on and replace me eventually over time. But started by an Eagle Scout, Marine, Purdue alum, right, out of Indianapolis, Indiana. So not out of LA or New York City or Atlanta or Chicago or Miami or a real like common place where stuff like this is bred, right? Where it would be bred out of. And since asp is a snake, and I grew up in the woods, out, I've held many a snake. I don't have them as pets. Yeah, you can switch to YouTube if you would rather click on some links, listen to music. I'm listening to War right now while I talk. Yeah, my first piece I posted today said I'm fucking scared, man, for my country and the direction we're headed. This shit's wild. What is it good? I think we're in a who shoots first situation. A lot of people kind of ask me is when is this all gonna break? When is all gonna go down? When there's basically when he breaks the laws, it refers to him being commander in chief, and once charges can be produced. You want to remember about this situation is Joe Biden said presidents shouldn't be immune. It's the year of the snake, after all, so why not? Yeah, I think maybe that crash last night could be the catalyst for some movement. But yeah, to continue to sell myself after I've just told you, like I'm a Marine Corps infantryman, an Eagle Scout, and a Purdue alum. I have no criminal record. I smoke weed, but like otherwise I don't do drugs. I don't even drink alcohol. I champion a clean lifestyle, and I just don't want people to die in debt. I don't want people to carry around great amounts of debt. I mean, I don't have much debt, and like if I work real hard for the next like few years and put all my money into trying to clear all my debt, I'd be debt free. That includes my house. Not everybody has the opportunities in life that I've gotten and will have, right? And rather than pull the ladder up behind me and fly away on my spaceship that I'm building, right? If you really think about it, like what happens when you haven't had any money and you're a homeowner and all of a sudden you have money? Well, and then I'm gonna make my spaceship, my house look all cool and shit, right? It's what people do. Yeah, we need new appliances, we need new flooring, right? I'm gonna spice up this fucking spaceship, right? But I'm not flying away. I still gotta live here and shit. There's nowhere else to go. I don't think me personally, I don't think me moving makes sense or going somewhere, right? I think founding the American Socialist Party in the heart of the United States is great. It's fucking great. This is a fucking red welfare state. It's like a penal colony. Indiana is. It's got multiple high-level prisons. Pendleton, what is it? Pendleton, Terre Haute, I think Fort Wayne, Penn is up there too. Like there are big max level prisons in Indiana. And again, I'm not up here saying like fuck the police necessarily, They should not have qualified immunity either. What's crazy? I'm 41 years old. I know ASP sounds awesome. I know. It's a great acronym. American Socialist Party. The foundation is just the four pillars of socialism. universal education income, housing, and healthcare. I said that. And then whatever progressive policies are just most beneficial, no, proposing no legislation against uh endangered communities, right? Um, I think one of the founding principles and objectives of the ASP is to destroy Citizens United. I think is a great mission. I think you can get socialism. I think you've got to have policy on that, right? You've got to have policy beyond that. And I think the mission critical is eliminate Citizens United, push to make elected officials not be able to stock trade. They're insider trading like a motherfucker. There are apps to track these elected officials. And yeah, Bernie Sanders is I voted for Bernie. I went and watched Bernie when he was here, and there were 20,000 people. I've tried to tell people this, how popular socialism really is. 20,000 people came to Indianapolis when he spoke, and I stood amongst them. In Indianapolis, like a super fucking red state. But Citizens United's got to go. You got to ban elected officials from stock trading. And that will sort of right the ship. And what I mean is that everybody's going to have to fight fair now, because you having a vested interest in what's driving your policy is not good, but not good policy, right? So obviously we need a big shit. And keep this in mind, before it happens, United Healthcare is talking about the failure of the U.S. healthcare system. Yeah, exactly. And obviously, when my biggest problem that I have outside of like the destruction of Roe v. Wade, them trying to ban abortions, like that's fucking ridiculous policy. Stop making stupid policy. But like Palestine, I'm a big empath. I'm a big empath. And one of the things that like super like bummer was, and to just call it what it was, a super fucking bummer, was October 7th, 2020. No, 2022, 22. Yeah, right? Or is it 23? October 7th, 2023. And the ensuing genocide that American tax dollars 100% fucking paid for. Also, Donald Trump could get in office and order to settle it. It's horrible. A lot of people are like, "Oh, but Israel's our ally," and I'm like, "You're my ally until you do what? You and I are friends until you do what? I don't know. I'm a spitball. Commit genocide? I didn't think that. I didn't think that was a big a big question about how that would affect our relationship. How that might affect my willingness and ability to want to continue to fund your military exercises when you're literally committing a war crime. The fuck? And my biggest problem is it seemed like Joe Biden and Bibi were buddies. And it's like, hey man, I get it. He's got 30 plus years of geopolitical experience. He probably largely held us out of conflict, and now it looks like it's Jesus Christ. Um, so for the record, at the expense of future American lives, like what? So yeah, the I think it's pretty easy early in the development of a political platform to say, well, it's not very difficult for me to be on the outside looking in and say, what happens if we don't send them weapons? Like, do you resort to torture, or like I'm not understanding what the downside was of being like, we're gonna halt weapons to Israel because I ain't paying American tax dollars to do that shit. Holy shit, BB. ICC charges? Oh, he already got those. He already has ICC charges. If he leaves Israel and goes like anywhere, he's getting arrested. I before I ever run for public office, I have to get full-time security. I have to get more arms training than I have. I have to wear body armor and fit in it. So I have to get in shape. I have to protect myself. I have to pay to have security. I'm literally going to have to constantly be afraid for my life. I mean, I'm not afraid. Cast me into the fire, please. But but it's not what I want. I just know it's coming. I've already been shot and shot at before I joined the Marine Corps. You know what I mean? So, and then I was in Indiana, in Indianapolis. So it's not that I don't know it's coming. Yeah, she's protected too. She has a fucking nice security detail. Probably same for Bernie. There are a lot of other things about socialism that I consider extraneous and are unnecessary, mostly like leaning on too much of its past, right? That's one of the things that I want to make sure we establish is that we recognize DSA, other socialist parties, we want to interact with everybody. But on our own on our own terms. Not cherry picking. WD-40, I've never wished for a wayward missile ever in my life. WD. Well, I mean, Lindsay, can you imagine the low life that would want to hurt me? Like, are you fucking kidding me? When I'm not talking to you or fucking working, I'm like playing video games by myself or playing with my dogs. Like, you know, I usually have to feed my dogs and cats. But I have three pit bulls and a German Shepherd, so I'd like to think you enter my abode, you're biting off more than you can chew, and that's before you get to me. Like my dogs are too much for my wife, and they were all her idea. So, but mostly people are opposed to socialism because they don't know what it is, and then also the media construes everything, right? They're gonna tell their own story. Remember, I'm a drugged out, low life veteran. Remember that because it's coming. Even though I host a daily live podcast where we discuss news and politics. And then I'm able to clearly articulate my political positions without sounding like a fucking idiot. And it's certainly better to debate against me than it is whatever the right is offering you if you're the Democrats. Forever. You would much rather have a highly intellectual debate where progress is made regardless. I don't care what happens as long as progress is made. Right? So I just want to push it forward and not I don't want to roll shit back. Like all this shit Donald Trump's fucking signing 400 goddamn bills. I just want to point to the Federal Register. So this is an asset to you. If you're just able to go to the Federal Register yourself, okay? And I know you're like, holy shit, Jared, this site's stupid. Yeah, if you would just hit the fucking search bar, okay, and it'll take you to a page that's a little more readable. So you want to hit the hourglass or the magnifying glass. Okay, when you go to federalregister.gov, I know you're going to look at it and you're like, "Oh my god, it's so disorganized. It looks just like the government." Yeah. Go down, you see where it says enter search term or citation and you could search for whatever the fuck you want, right? But you could just click the hourglass. Just click the hourglass. Or not the hourglass, the magnifying glass. And then you'll see the next page is like way easier to navigate because you're like, oh my God, okay. And then you just want to hit presidential document. That's what we're looking for on the federalregister.gov. If you want to follow along with my silky smooth voice, right? And then you want to look at an executive order and Donald Trump, right? And then what you do is you look at the date. Okay, so you want to look at newest ones. Okay, okay. And then I just go backwards. How far back do I go? Oh, I thought he signed like 400 of these motherfuckers. Okay. I'm on the second fucking page, all right? January 21st. And again, I'm saying there's, oh, hell, I don't know, 30? I'm just going to keep pointing it out. The plane hit the chopper. I thought it looked like the chopper flew in front of the aircraft. Well, I mean, here's the thing, Linz. It's actually got to be done within 24 hours. So I just want to keep pointing it out. I'm going to keep pointing it out. Like he has signed, as of this morning, hundreds of executive orders, 30 of them. Okay. Now people are come back and say, Jared, some of those weren't executive orders. Some of those were presidential orders. And okay. 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 I'll give it to you. I'll give it to you. There's fucking 3 of them. Fuck is going on? He signed over 400 presidential and executive orders in a little over a week, and fucking 30 of them are on the register. It's a little fucking odd. It's supposed to happen within 24 hours. He has to know something's coming. Yeah. The first thing he did, like I'm gonna keep saying it, the first thing he did when he was in office is put HR 23 on the table to delegitimize the ICC. And nobody talked about it. The media didn't talk about it. I talked about it when it popped off, and then I was just like, it'll never make it to the desk. New press sec said those drones were approved by the FAA. Yeah, just as I said, Valerie. Everything you see in the sky above you has a permit to be there, has submitted a flight plan to be there, and has to be actively communicating with air traffic control. Otherwise, you're going to get shot out of the fucking sky. And I've told the story before how it happened to me. Let me explain to you post 9/11 flight in the United States. For those of you that have never heard this story, I'm sorry. For those of you that have, I'm also fucking sorry. But when I was at Purdue University, I was in the flight program. That means I literally flew airplanes. One Saturday morning, the guy that lived across the hall from me, who is now, I believe he's a senior flight instructor for helicopters in the Marine Corps now. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure he's done like 20 fucking years, guys. Guy that lived across from me in the hall, his name's Jake, wakes me up one Saturday morning, and I had just started at Lafayette Aviation. I was a member of Purdue Pilots. You can get a job at Lafayette Aviation as an instructor. I hadn't quite started yet. I was like still going through training. Jake wakes me up and he's hungover as a motherfucker, and I'm not that kind of drinker. And he's like, I need your help. I'll sign myself in, but you got to fly the plane. Dead ass. And for the record, um, he signed himself in. I walked out to the hangar, got in the airplane, and fucking flew it and landed it, and nothing happened, and I'm sitting here with you. Except, so the kids that I was going up with were assholes. Both of them. All of them were terrible people. Okay? we get up in the air, and they made a left turn when they were supposed to make. They made a left turn when they were supposed to make a right. Okay. And at 9 a.m. in the morning on a Saturday of a fucking home Purdue football game, I had to chase these little shits after they did a fucking wing over the stadium at 2,000 fucking feet. So for those of you that don't know what a wing over is, it's when you just flip your aircraft upside down, and then it's just a stall, and then you gotta get yourself out of a wing over. Now, we were talking to each other, so I talked him through getting out of the stall. We got out of a stall at 1,300 feet, leveled out, and went and landed. And no sooner had we parked the fucking aircraft than two fucking fighter jets that had been dispatched from Grissom Air Force Base, because flying over the stadium is definitely against the law. That's restricted airspace. Post 9/11. Yep. And it just so happened that Jake kind of dismissed me as I got out of the aircraft. He'd been drinking coffee. He's sober now, right? Because he was on comms too. And he pushed me off, and he took the ear beating from the two fighter pilots that fucking landed at Purdue's airport. And ultimately, I took the fall and left Purdue flight and let Jake Ashbolt stay. I am like the ultimate teammate and best and like really good fucking friend, because I didn't necessarily want to be a pilot. I wanted to be an astronaut. So it was not my dream anymore. So when people talk about like there's drones in the sky and nothing's happening to them, I'm just like, cuz they have permission to be there. Do you know how I know? You know how I know they have permission to be there? Cuz I've been in airspace that I wasn't supposed to fucking be in personally after 9/11. And literally they sent fucking fighter jets from the Air Force Grissom base, a ways away from, and they landed, and they came and fucking put their finger in Jake Ashbolt's fucking face and yelled at him. And I took the fucking fall so Jake could stay in the flight program at Purdue, and now he's had a 20-year career in the Marine Corps. Hoorah. Badass story, huh? And fucking true. 100% fucking true. Hmm. I said it with my full chest. Hmm. So when you ask me, like, why are there fucking drones and shit flying around? They got permission. They got permission to be there. It's a heavily regulated, your airspace is heavily regulated. There are thousands of air traffic controllers. It's not just air traffic controllers in the tower at airports. There are what are called air traffic control centers, ATCC. And my daddy was a manager at a center most of my adult life at Indy Center. So he was also in the FAA. Badass story, huh? And that shit is fucking true. Ha! So when you don't understand why did none of them get shot out of the sky? Because they had fucking permission to be there. Some things are harder to understand when it hasn't happened to you yet. Right? Oh, I wanted to read this quote. I've read it before. It's a poem by Martin Niemöller. He was a German pastor who protested Hitler's anti-Semitic measures. He was arrested and imprisoned for 8 years. Okay? The poem is a warning about the ease in which events like the Holocaust could happen again if people don't learn from the past. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I wasn't a communist. And they came to the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. And then they came for the Jews, and I didn't speak up because I'm not a Jew. And then they came for me. And by that time, there was no one left to speak for me. So I know that things are happening, and right now, every time something happens and it doesn't directly affect you, I know that you feel some sort of relief. But you shouldn't feel that. You should feel a a tinge of pain every time some decision that Donald Trump has made kills someone. And that's before a shot is even fired. Just true. Probably a bitter pill to swallow. But anyway, there was the largest plane crash since 9/11 last night. And I want to make sure that you know that Donald Trump, before that crash, gutted the Aviation Safety Committee. He fired the head of TSA and a Coast Guard. And the committee, although it will still exist, doesn't have any members. Yeah, because I thought my entire agency was about to lose their jobs today. We have this. If you need a fucking job and need to get out of that, someone in my vocation made $700,000 last year. The average person in my vocation makes 140,000, and high performers make over a quarter. 40-hour work week working from home, helping people get out of debt. I'm gonna say it again in case you didn't hear it. If you need to get out of whatever vocation you're in, you want to work from home, you want to do like work a job where you don't have to lie to kick it, just work a 40-hour work week and make a bunch of money. I got a job for you. The average person makes about 130, 140,000. High performers are going to make a quarter or more. Yeah. I mean, there's a reason I'm here every day, and that we prioritize what is the most important story of the day. And the most important story of the day is that last night Donald Trump disbanded a critical um, aviation safety committee, and then the largest air disaster since 9/11 happened. Okay, I think Donald Trump's directly responsible. I don't think there's a doubt in my mind. I think it's one of the easiest. This happened, and then this happened ever. And I think that it could very well be the catalyst for, like, you got to think US military personnel died in this. If that doesn't tell you who Donald Trump cares about, blaming the helicopter. Go fucking figure. Wow, Salon, shut up. And I just want to point out all the money power in the United States that's taken control right now and is literally responsible for all of this. Uh, are all the richest men in the United States. A lot of them are immigrants, or first generation, like Jeff Bezos, um, Peter Thiel, David Sachs, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. Um, and I think that the most impactful thing that you can do, um, is you need to delete Facebook and Instagram and Threads, and you need to get Facebook Messenger off of your phone. Okay? The reason that Facebook Messenger is such a pervasive application is because they will literally give your location away. And also, Messenger takes your private conversations that you're having in Messenger and uses that to feed the algorithm on all their other applications. Also, Messenger has access to your microphone and your camera. Okay. So you need to get all the maps off your phone and you need to get off WhatsApp too. And also, down with Citizens United. You got it. Okay. You got to get off Twitter. Now, did I say deactivate your account? No. No. I want you as an inactive user. So, what we don't want to do is impact the total number of users. It's always going up, right? So, they're always growing, but they care about how many active users they have. And so, yeah. hmm The first job I've ever had. I've been working soft sales, like over the phone sales for over a decade now. And this is the first job I'll ever have where the people that are the best at it are the people that are just reading the fucking script. Like just, it's just like Michael Scott when he got his second job, except this job is with people that don't want to do a bankruptcy. And so they're like, "Hey, what do I do before I have to sell all my shit?" Right? I don't want to sell all my stuff. Like, what do I do if I want to get out of debt? And so what they primarily offer is debt resolution. And so what happens is instead of you paying on your unsecured debt for the rest of your fucking life and pay like $200,000 for 5, 6 credit cards, we could get that paid off in 4 years. You pay a fee instead of a instead of daily compounding interest. It's the easiest job I've ever had. Because I'm smart. I know how to play the game. I know how to read a fucking script. And when someone asks a question, I know where to go to read the rebuttal for that. And I have to read it verbatim anyway. So I'm just going to read it verbatim. Easiest job ever. What we're doing is getting you out of debt and lowering your monthly cost too. It's a win-win. hmm Using a debt resolution service now. It's usually called debt consolidation. But here's the thing about debt consolidation that's different that other companies do, and I've been through debt consolidation. What happens though is when you consolidate a debt, you still have to pay interest on that, and that's the difference between debt resolution and debt consolidation is that yes, you pay a fee that is a percentage of what you owe, um, but you pay it annually instead of daily compounding, and you get out of from under it in 3, 4 years. That sounds awesome. And again, none of that was improve your credit. Fuck all that. How about get out of 50, 60 to $150,000 of unsecured debt? which is mostly I figured it out. I try to figure out because I've talked to several people my age that have told me they have between 100 and $150,000 in unsecured debt. And I'm talking not potential customers, like colleagues. And I try to think about my expenses since I came home from the military. And how the fuck, if we're both homeowners and you don't have a car payment and I don't have a car payment and all other things are equal, how the fuck did you get in $150,000 in debt that I don't have if we're the same age? And I figured it out. I did the math and I'm like, oh, that's why. Healthcare. It's the crippling cost of healthcare. My best friend and I have, for the last decade, we worked pretty much at the same jobs. Wherever he went, I'd go. Wherever I go, he comes, right? Uh, Made similar money, both homeowners. He had 100 and some $1,000s in unsecured debt. And how did he get there? Paying for fucking insurance and the cost of healthcare over the last 15 years. I'm a disabled veteran, so I haven't had to pay all that money out. And he's not. So he's had to pay for healthcare for the last 15 fucking year. Yeah, no college degree required. If you've sold shit over the phone and taken information from people and ran credit and taken payment, this is this is it, baby. One of the guys in my class was one of the best salespeople at Verizon for like 7 years. He was the full package ready to hit the ground running. Yeah. I try to be a good teammate. I am hot shit. I could fucking read. You know what I mean? Like if you tell me just like read that, takes 45 minutes and you get paid oodles. Okay. That's easy money. My best friend and I are already talking about like I want to sit front row Pacers next year. Like hell yeah. Wouldn't you want to see the person who founded the American Socialist Party that wants everyone to have universal health care, education, income, and housing is a huge NBA fan and works real hard at his job and sits front row at Pacers games. That's fucking dope, right? Right. No debt except your mortgage. How lucky are you? That's awesome. It must be awesome. See, I don't have to ask Joanne who are you before all this debt, but that's the way to live. My goal for 2025 is to get my wife and I out of all this unsecured debt by the end of the year. Because we don't have kids, and it's hard. You don't want to put yourself in more debt once you get into a good position. You'll be able to sleep at night. Yeah, because you just realize that all of your work is futile. And I think once people become aware of futility, they start to look for alternatives because they hear that word and it seeps into your fucking brain, and you're like, futile? What the fuck is futile? And then once you realize how futile your labor is when you're just paying your debt off, you got to realize that you're paying off money you already spent. So all those toys that you bought, right? That $500 Xbox cost you 5 grand. It happens all the time. And again, there's a reason this in job field is exploding. The company I work for has 1,500 agents, almost 2,000 agents. Like think about that. All work from home. Debt is exploding. You could really, literally save people just a fuckload. More. Here's what I figured out the math. We actually save people more money than we tell them. Yeah, we save people more money than we tell them. Because when you tell them like you would otherwise be paying on this for the next 20 years, it's like that's not even fucking true. It's even longer than that, you know, and you only use that if you have to. It'll actually be 42 years. You'll pay this much out, and it's 350K on that $30,000 in debt that you hold. So yeah, it's a pretty badass job. Company's called Beyond Finance. If you're really goddamn good, it's worth $1,500 fucking dollars to me for you to work for the same company, and me to refer you. Okay. You're like, holy shit. Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. There's sales reps. That's where I work. Beyond Finance. As part of accredited debt relief. See, something that people don't understand about what's about to happen. And this is the other big thing. Hey, for like I've told this story before about my personal debt story. I had one credit card. I had a Capital One card for $5,000. I've never had another one. And up until about 6 months ago, I paid every payment ever on that card. And maintained a sub like $4,000 balance. Okay. Because of my high utilization, I could never get another card, which is great for me. God damn, that'd been great. Never, I'm so glad I only ever had one credit card, and it only went bad inside the last 6 months. I think I can still get it out of Hawk, and I don't want it, but there are situations where until you just have cash, have the money, it'd be nice to have a credit card in case of emergency, in case your bank fucks up. But what I've learned now is once you have more than the $1,000 for an emergency in your bank, in your savings, you need to open other bank accounts. And you need multiple banks that you have access to, that you have a card for, that you have money in. Why? Because putting all your eggs in one basket when a bunch of banks are failing is a terrible fucking decision. And even if putting your money in multiple banks makes it higher likelihood that the money that you have in the bank is going to be affected by a bank closure, yes, it also they give you the opportunity to move your money. And so I'm just giving you sound advice in the event that banks continue to fail. Credit unions are where you generally want your money, and you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket because you never know when one of these places is going to start doing some fuck shit. You gotta go. You don't know when they're gonna start bending the knee and start running Donald Trump in their ads, right? So I say all that to say, I still think a bunch of people are gonna die, and and soon, and in the next week or two. And it's because of Donald Trump freezing federal spending and then unfreezing it, and a judge stepping in, and bam, 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 bam. The Medicaid websites were down and all this shit. I smell it. Somebody's gonna go get their medicine, and it's gonna be 50,000. They're not gonna be able to get their medicine. They're gonna be making videos in their fucking car. You know, like we saw that lady with the diabetes meds, and she went to get insulin for her son, and it was $3,700 fucking dollars. Yeah, that's a failure of the U.S. healthcare system. Executives in healthcare are wary of a failure of the healthcare system. This was before Donald Trump tried to freeze federal spending, even though that's not his fucking job. He does not have purview. That's Congress that has the purse strings. So I want to make sure everyone knows Donald Trump broke the law, and this is where I think it happens. He broke the law on the 1st of fucking February. I said this in past shows. If you go watch past shit I've put out, I've said, hey, I can envision a scenario where Donald Trump fucks with SNAP and Medicaid, Medicare, and somebody goes to get their medication and can't, or someone's getting ready to get rolled into surgery and it's required, and it gets stopped and they die. That's when shit pops off because of his decision making. Also wear a fucking mask. Um, oh man, wear a fucking mask. COVID, the flu. There's even the avian flu present. I put the career there. I put the jobs list there. You write me down as your referral. I'll put my name and my profile link. Okay. So yeah, um, I want to make sure we reiterate stuff, because there are people that are joining us. We have been live for almost an hour. We are live on Clapper, hey everybody, and then we're also live on YouTube. Come February 5th, we'll be back on TikTok. And I'm kind of breaking my own rule in that I've posted some content lately, but I think you can tell by about how passionate I am about it that there's good reason to. Obviously, posted a warning yesterday on YouTube and TikTok where I said, "Hey, listen, I feel like 600 kids in one town text to the flu. Oh my God, wear a fucking mask. Um, get a work from home job, save your money, grow a garden, don't get chickens. Not now. Might want to hold off on that for a while. Might want to be real careful. But yeah, Donald Trump won't be in power very long because, like I said, he got awfully close to talking about veterans benefits, and I can promise you, if I don't get my benefits on the first, because my mortgage comes out on the first, and my benefits cover my mortgage. And so that's just how my paychecks line up, man. And so you can imagine hundreds of thousands of people are in the same boat I am, where their mortgage is paid by their benefits. Just join Discord. How do I find you? Likely alien. Pretty much the same guy everywhere. But you generally don't really need to do that. You hang out long enough, you'll get invited to the Discord, and you can join the Modriarchy one day. Another story that we got to talk about outside of a fucking the largest plane crash since 9/11, and my thoughts on the upcoming purge, in which I'm pretty positive that on the first of the month people's healthcare is about to be fucked up, and ultimately that people are gonna die because of it in the next week or two. A lot of people, particularly old people and disabled people. And I'm just saying it. There, I can. What else do you want me to do? I worked in the industry for years. I helped people with their health care for years. I got out of that industry because it wasn't good enough anymore. The benefits that were available to my clients, they weren't getting them over the hump financially. And now I work in an industry where we're helping people that need help financially, right? Do you understand how it works? You go where you can help people without screwing them over and making their lives worse. And sometimes in healthcare, the only way to get people better healthcare is to make great changes. See new doctors, probably not take that medication anymore. find other treatments. And far too many people had far too fucked up a healthcare experience, and they don't want to change what's keeping them alive right now. Yeah, tuberculosis outbreak in Kansas and shit like that. And keep in mind, the media, CDC, they've all been silenced by Donald Trump. He doesn't want any of them putting out any bad news and telling you what's going on. So it's left to people like me that host a daily show where we talk about what is most pressing, right? And so wear a fucking mask. It's time to get a work from home fucking job. Um, don't get a mask. Don't work from home and wear a mask. That's silly. That's a little overboard. Okay. Egg prices soared, but not chicken. Yeah, because you get chickens right now. Uh, you mean like frozen chicken or like yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to even want to eat chicken right now. With the avian flu around? That's crazy. No chicken tartare for me. Mm-mm. Yep. But tonight in last night in Washington D.C. Here, there's some doctors who've gone private, charge a monthly fee for unlimited healthcare. That'd be great. Because ultimately, I think it's your doctor that knows what's best for you, and not the healthcare companies. They just know what they'll pay for. It's part of being an empath is understanding, what's going to have the biggest impact on other people. Obviously, Donald Trump said he's going to open up a detention center in Guantanamo Bay for 30,000 undocumented migrants. I just want you to know that he may say that shit, but it ain't going to fucking happen. Pentagon revoked the security detail for Mark Milley. So he's going to have to spend and get private security. 19 states. Fee for a prior doctor. See, I pay nothing. I'm a disabled veteran. I get free healthcare through the VA. Call it a concentration camp. Yep. But there's a reason that we call this podcast Justice's Waiting Room, is because we are presuming that the Department of Justice is and all relevant agencies have done a great job. and have produced reports that are currently a few days away. Yeah. The FAA chief resigned on January 20th after Elon Musk told him to resign. Yeah, well, that's what I was getting at is that my best friend and I looked at our expenses for the last 15 years, and the difference was that executives still in place. What do you mean? Just because we were definitely waiting for justice, right? But yeah. But anyway, my best friend and I, we compared our expenses over the last 15 years. And the reason that he has so much more unsecured debt than I is because he's had to pay for healthcare this whole time, a few $100 a month over 15 years. And he got married and had to pay for her healthcare until they got divorced. Like that's 25 years of paying for healthcare, and I don't have to pay for that. Yeah, that's 150 to 100,000. Posted a link on Blue Sky from the Daily Beast. Is that executive order 13848 still in place? Yeah, he didn't touch it because he wants to use it. And he's expecting that he's in charge now. Here's the thing that happened that I think is significant about Executive Order 13848, the time frames and Donald Trump's ability to interact with the DOJ. All the heads of DOJ and SecDef, they stepped down prior. I think it's important, okay? Because when they step down prior, there's a 30-day window where Donald Trump cannot fucking replace those people. So all these people step down. That way Donald Trump can't go to one of them and say stop it. Stop your investigation. It's already happened. Sanctions were already applied. Indictments come, and then from 30 days out they got to unfuck it basically until March 5th. So everyone's like, no, it passed the weaker. It didn't pass the Senate. Democrats took it down. That's what I'm saying, Lindsay. We looked at our costs, and he was spending, five or $6,000 more a year than I was just on healthcare. And over 15 years, hey, that's a significant amount of money. Add to that he also had to pay for his wife's health care for the decade, they were together or whatever. And our cost differences were about 100, 150,000, mostly in unsecured debt. Well, you usually only dismiss them after you've gotten the relevant information from them. Nope. Nope. You don't have immunity for things you did before you got into office. And he's only got immunity for official acts. So like for example, he is guilty for of criminal neglect, right? For firing all these people without cause and then deaths happen as a result. So that's not official. That's not an official act. Stopped his cases with Jack Smith. He dismissed them without prejudice, and he didn't stop them. Jack Smith did. It's important not to paint Donald Trump as powerful when he's really not. He only has like 9 powers. Deleted Jack Smith's case. They did not. They dismissed without prejudice. That means that he is already guilty and he could be tried at any time. He can be sentenced at any time. They already got all the evidence was already there. That was Jack Smith's report, volume 1. When you say deleted, it's kind of jokey, right? Like, haha, yeah, they deleted off the internet. Yep. There's no such thing as that. It will exist forever. You can't get rid of it. That's the problem with the internet. There's no way to get away from it, Donnie. It's coming. Multiple agencies. Multiple agencies. Not just the DOJ, FBI, CIA, NSA, DISA, CSIC. He's more afraid of them than he is like trying to dismantle them. They literally said yesterday. This. I'm guessing. I guessed it was. I had people telling me it was going to come out at midnight last night, and I said, no, it'll just come out today. So I expect volume two of Jack Smith's report today. I don't have anything at the moment that says it's happening today. Elon Musk said he's gonna sue Tim Waltz after Tim Waltz said he gave a Nazi salute. So hey Elon, since I get free legal aid for life and I'll fuck you up in Discovery, Elon gave the Nazi salute twice, and he's a fucking open Nazi, and I think all Nazis should die. No, they're not. He can't actually do that. So deleting them from the internet doesn't do anything. There's like paper copy on paper copy on paper copy in real life. The charges still exist. Yeah, you can't get rid of it forever. So them deleting it is just like stupid people are in charge now and they're like, ha ha ha, we're gonna delete this from a website. Ha ha ha. And it's like, dude, do you know how long they've kept like 7 paper copies of goddamn everything? What do you think they just ordered the burning of all the copies that were made of all of those paper pieces of paper? Get the fuck out of here. It doesn't mean shit. It just means Donald Trump thinks he's getting away with some shit. Just say that over and over for everything you've said, CC. Yeah, they're in broad daylight, like woo, we're getting rid of evidence. You'll never catch us. Okay, okay, okay. Remember, Donald Trump only has immunity for official acts. Do you know what this means? If what you do is illegal, you can still be tried. I hope that helps. Destroying evidence is a crime and not an official act. Do you know what an official act is? It's one that's legal. Hope that helps. Like, in order for Donald Trump to have immunity from an official presidential act, it has to be a legal act. I feel like I'm in the fucking Twilight Zone. I mean, I am in the fucking Twilight Zone, aren't I? Yeah, ICE set up a tip line where you could call in and turn people into ICE. First of all, I have a lot of friends that are not from here, and my favorite thing to hear is that they get phone calls like, "We're gonna come get you" or whatever, and they're like, "I can tell you where a whole bunch of them are," and they just tip them off, and it's all their Trump supporting cousins that are like, "Ah, fuck America," all this shit, and they voted for Donald Trump because yeah, he's gonna destroy America. Fuck America. And there, you see people getting arrested with Trump's, Latinos for Trump shit. It's like, it's just like we said. The people that it's gonna affect are the people that voted for Donald Trump first. I've tried to tell everyone the thing about being a Democrat. 70% of registered Democrats have college degrees. What does that mean? They're also way likelier to be homeowners. They're way likelier to be financially free. And the first people that Donald Trump's going to hurt when he's in office with his little executive orders and shit. Oh, it's fucking terrible. Are they, Joanne? Because it's one thing to say it like that, and that sounds like fear mongering, but I see that 3 of the January 6ers have already been killed since they've been released. And remember, 1,500 pardons and not 1,500 criminals escaped from prison. Meaning, like, they still have state charges, and most of them are still in jail, and the handful that have gotten out have already met their end. So, on the one hand, that's fear mongering. And instead, I'm saying, like, Enrique Tarrio, dude, he won't last 6 months. What the fuck are we talking about? But yeah, people were calling ICE, and you should. You should. That's what we should do. That's what we should do. Everybody should call ICE and report Elon Musk, David Sachs, Peter Thiel, right? Hey, those are immigrants. Are they even here illegally? Legally? Get them. But yeah, I want to make sure I spend a considerable portion of our program today talking about a piece of content I made yesterday on TikTok. I posted on TikTok about Adam Kinzinger said, "Where are the Democrats?" And lots of people have been contacting me and say, "Where are the Democrats?" And I wanted to point out that they're in danger, and that's why they're not speaking out is because Donald Trump's in power, and if you they were to run to a microphone every time Donald Trump did some fucked up shit, well, first of all, you wouldn't be able to do anything else if you focused on all the horrible shit that Donald Trump did. And every time he made a terrible decision, he just ran to a microphone and were like, oh my God, Donald Trump's terrible. You would basically put a target on your back. Elon Musk will have you primaried out, unless your seat is safe. Yeah, Melania and Elon are here safely. See? Call ICE, let them know. Melania Trump and Elon Musk. Do you need their address? We can get their address. They're in Mar-a-Lago, most likely. Or the White House, whichever. Donald Trump is the least popular modern president for a second time. The only incoming president to have a lower approval rating than Donald Trump in 2025 is Donald Trump in 2017. To the surprise of no one. Yeah, so not only have three January Sixers that got pardoned met their bitter end, but most of them didn't actually get out of jail free, and many of them have had legal scuffle. So again, it's like the same people that put the boot on their face and their hand is in the boot and they're the one pushing themselves, like, oh, daddy, push me. Like, it's like, no, like, they're getting their shit rocked. This shit is not going well for them on the whole. And if I had to leave the Indiana subreddit because somebody was in there talking about fuck the police. And I said, I don't understand. The guy was a traitor at a routine traffic stop. He was belligerent. He pulled a firearm on a police officer and he tried to evade and returned fire and got killed in Indiana. His name was Tuttle. And I said the cops did the right thing. And someone said, if you're gonna be anti-police violence, you have to be anti-police violence for everyone. And I said, oh fucking contraire, no the fuck you do not. There are absolutely instances in which an armed police officer should absolutely stop someone that is a traitor to this country, that at a routine traffic stop pulled a firearm, was belligerent, and tried to evade a police officer and returned fire. What the fuck are we even talking about? And the person called me a bootlicker. And I said, my entire family's law enforcement, and I'm generally a fuck the police kind of guy, right? Generally a fuck the police kind of guy. Um, but yeah, there are absolutely circumstances where I'm like, ooh, police violence. I like it. And for the example, like one of the most violent January Sixers, a doctor from Seattle, got killed by the police in his house yesterday. And again, death by police is what those people wanted. So the fact that there's 1,500 violent January Sixers that all got re-released and they're all having negative interactions with the cops. First of all, you want to talk about leopards eating faces. These are like cousins fighting, for the record. As soon as though as soon as that check stops rolling in, people get real radical real fast. Yep. Yep. So like I said, it's important to have some perspective here. Just like people have said, like Donald Trump he never has to face any consequences. I just want to point out that that's a load of shit. That's a load of fucking shit. Every business he's ever had failed. The most successful business he had to give ownership of it away to his son to take office. Yes, he's wealthy now, but that's gonna go away. So ultimately, at the end of the day, when he has no money, no businesses has ever fucking failed, in order for him to hold any wealth at all, he had to give it away to his child. And I would just ask you, is he winning yet? Oh, he's the president of the United States. You heard what I said? He signed 400 executive and presidential orders in a little over 10 days, and fucking 30 of them are on the Federal Register. Again, get the fucking boot off your face. He isn't winning yet. He ain't won yet. He ain't winning yet. He's on the board. He's scored. This is a war. He may have won a battle. He did not win a war. He might have won the battle, but he won't win the war. Because again, I'm expecting on February 3rd something to happen. I thought there was a protest on the 5th in all 50 states, and apparently it's been moved to March 15th. And so I'm fully supportive of anyone's desire to protest. I'm behind you 100%. Okay? I just want to make sure that you're organized. You have clear leadership. Okay? The threat of martial law should not deter you from going to a protest. He was going to declare martial law anyway. It's in Project 2025. It's the whole plan. Oh, and I would love to play video games with the people that I'm around the most. So you all, Division 2, I think would be a video game that'd be productive for me to play with the people that watch my show every day. So if I have a PS5, I'm actually probably going to buy a new one. So if somebody wants my junker PS5, I'll probably have to get rid of it. I'm just a bum. Just a bum. Need a new one. It's a fight. Just takes a while. I mean, we'll win. Yeah. Okay. February 3rd report goes to him. How's that work? No, it doesn't. It's released to the public. It's unclassified. So the ODNI will put it out. Certain people didn't step down that Donald Trump wouldn't dare touch. He also doesn't have the ability to fire a bunch of people. There's a bunch of people he can't fire. And he doesn't have the security clearance to receive those reports. I just want to point that out too. Remember, he was denied critical security clearances that keeps him out of certain meetings. Hope that helps. I know it's hard out here. I know there's a lot of mis and disinformation. I know it feels like it's much worse than it actually is. I'm wary about, again, people don't look like me. People that get Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, food stamps, Head Start. I'm worried about that. I'm worried about kids and old people. Just being left out in the cold. The world's fucking cold. Just, I mean, it just is. And remember, one of the unique things about my podcast is that we have a song we open the show with and a song we close with, and we don't jam them in your ear and make you listen to it every time. Uh, I just post the link in the chat. You can hit that up if you want. And why we let the credits roll on this show and say, hey, thank you. Remember, the whole point's chaos. So when you feel like, man, this feels awfully disorganized, that's the fucking point. Okay? Yeah. And you got to remember, he's got old, deranged military leaders on his side. Mm-mm-mm. Yeah. Project 2025. Go read the playbook. He never signed the agreement. Also, there were no names on the invitation. He didn't put his hand on the Bible. But yeah, if you enjoy the show, appreciate somebody sitting with you talking about what's going on in the world. 69 concurrent viewers. He is. It's a matter of time. A matter of time. What an odd thing to say about this. Yeah. His consequences right now, he has to hang out with Elon Musk and be friends with Elon Musk and take advice from Elon Musk. Oh my God. Can you imagine? He probably stinks. They're like ketamine, cocaine, poor diet. They probably think farts are funny and shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's in for a rude awakening. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I saw Tesla down 40 sales down 40% in the year, 70% in the fourth quarter. Hey, I told you you wear that shit like a scarlet letter. Don't stop me now.